World's longest opening cutscene? I'll let you be the judge. I did, however, always want to know how a car was created. So, this is very educational. It also kind of represents how long it took Polyphony to make this game. Because the cutscene is long, it took them a long-ass time to make the game. So it kind of represents that too, the production of the game, how long it took. And then the end result, was it really worth the wait? We'll find out. Well, I already know. You'll find out, I suppose, is what I should be saying. After the first half of the cutscene is over. So, or opening cutscene. So. Dun 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 dun. Going in some paint, gonna paint my car, gonna wash my car. Gonna cough 'cause I try to talk too loud. Inspecting the car. We're gonna wax the car. We're gonna wax the car. Putting in some stuff in the car and the brakes and everything like that. And oh my God, it's so awesome! Look at my watch, it is digital. Testing out a car. Now we're driving the car that you just watched being made. Look at the engine, look at this, it's building up to climatic. So awesome, oh my God. Look at us driving at night, yes we are, look at us, we're driving at night. Oh my God, we're driving at night. Driving at night, and now we're gonna start up a car. Alright everyone, welcome to my long-awaited video review for Gran Turismo 5. This game has been in production for, last I did my math, it was about 6 years since Gran Turismo 4 was released in 2004 in Japan, I believe. So this game has been in production for quite a while, to say the very least. And the first thing we're looking at is my driving of the Nissan Skyline, my dream car, and just how it handles and everything like that. The handling in this game is realistic, but I don't think it is as realistic as other racing games such as Forza 3. And the driving line is very deceiving. It's good, but you can tell that Polyphony didn't really put a lot of time into it. It's not something like Forza 3 when you compare it. Now I'm just cutting to the course maker now. I'm going to do a snow course. This is something that Polyphony seemed to have added in last minute because this is pretty much just the course maker. So, yeah. Pretty much just put in a bunch of things and you hope for the best. Pretty much. You can click generate button to regenerate a course, but oftentimes you'll find that it just doesn't make it the way you want it to. It's not like Mod Nation Racers where you can actually lay down the entire track. You have to keep generating the course over and over again. So I'm actually going for a very complex course is what I'm doing. But yeah, pretty much it's just a lot of menu clicking. It's not very involved and I wasn't impressed with it. Granted, I wasn't expecting to have this, but nonetheless, you add something in, I do expect to at least have something that's a little bit better than this. This is a novelty at best, in my opinion, and it would have been better off left out. But I'm going to show you some snow racing now. Inside of another Nissan Skyline, because I love the car very much. The drive-in is pretty good. You can hear the snow, or the tires digging into the snow, and all in all, it does feel very realistic. Again, like I said, the driving lines are very deceiving, because at one moment they'll be red, and then they'll go to blue, and it makes you think, okay, it's blue, so I'm okay. But no, you're not. You still have to keep braking, and it causes a lot of frustration, especially if you're in an area where you're about to overtake someone, then you spin out. So very deceiving. Not a fan of the driving line, but the game does look pretty good. Now my favorite, well, least favorite, but favorite show, Top Gear, they're actually in this game. Unfortunately, the entire race, or little mini races, they're next to impossible to complete. You get disqualified so often. Right here, I kind of steered off, and then it pretty much dragged me in, and I could not adjust in time, and I got disqualified. Here I come again. Here's this turn. Disqualified. So it's very frustrating. And as you can see, right now I'm racing a old Volkswagen van. So the Top Gear races you would think wouldn't be very restrictive and disqualifying you for every little thing. That's not the case. You get disqualified very often, and it's very hard to actually win these races, I have found. I may be a terrible racer at the game or something, but I just don't see how the average gamer will be able to complete these races without putting in a lot of time. And here I am getting disqualified yet again. Now we're going to NASCAR.
Hi, I'm
Another
Jeff
thing
Gordon,
to talk about.
NASCAR driver.
Jeff Gordon's racing jacket looks very nice. Unfortunately, the way he's talking, it's kind of stupid. His mouth doesn't line up with how he's talking. It looks very cheap, is the word I'm looking for.
Today's NASCAR race cars are built on steel tube frames. NASCAR regulations require the car to be 3,400 pounds,
Once again,
which is kind of heavy for a competition racing car.
Looks like they had it talk in Japanese and they never fixed it, is what it looks like to me.
The engine is a 358 cubic inch carbureted overhead valve V8. Now just hearing this, it might sound like old technology to you. But that's really not the case. Even though these NASCAR engines are OHV, they rev up to 10,000 RPM.
Okay, so now let's look at some NASCAR racing. This is all that I was able to get into, was just learning how to drive on a NASCAR track, learn how to drive in a circle. Doesn't sound very hard until you get disqualified for every little thing. Here I come, I'm going to get disqualified again. So, going back to the track, we're going to look at the game's damage now. This is one thing that was hyped up quite a bit. Supposed to have all sorts of realistic damage in this game, and I was excited for it. Here's my damage so far. Let's hit a wall going over 100 miles an hour and see what happens. That's what I get. Now let's go even faster. There we go. I got airborne. I mean, there's more damage than in other games like Forza. The damage is definitely better than Forza, but Forza they don't really try for damage. This they were supposed to be adding a lot of damage. There we go. I actually flipped my car over, and my car looks like this. Complete bullshit. There's no way that my car would look that nice if I hit it at a wall going that fast. So, yeah, just the damage in the game was not very good. And now we're doing some mini driving around my Mini Cooper. Another thing which is fairly challenging in this game. Now, I love simulation games. I love them. I love Forza 3. I love having to brake to turn and everything. This, it just seems like it's incredibly strict. and it really takes the fun out of it. Like right here, I should have been able to make that turn. I should have. It didn't seem like I was going that fast. I was going 50, but from what I can see, it didn't look like I was going that fast, and I should have been able to make the turns. So that's an issue that I've had. Next up are the races. And this is the beginner series, what you start out with. All of the races that you have a whole 9. Impressive. 6 years, and they gave me nine races to start out. We go into the amateur series, and we get 9 again. And another thing to note is how many you have, like France. There's a lot of them that I just didn't do because I didn't own the car. Pickup truck. That's one to remember, pickup truck, because you're going to see something later in this review about how that's just ridiculous. And then we get supercar and all that stuff. Professional series pretty much stays the same bunch of races that I just didn't have the cars to race with. And then one thing with the game that I found a bit lacking was the cars. I mean, you think 1,000 cars, and oh my god, that's a lot. It's really not. You only have 200 cars that were actually made for the game that are premium cars, and they're the ones right here that you can buy in the dealership. This one, I've never even heard of AEM. It's just pretty much a sponsor to the car, I think, anyway. But they don't give you many cars to pick from where you can actually see the inside of the cockpit and have premium damage and things like that. So you only get 200 of those. Now let's compare another game in this class. Forza 3, you got 400 plus. I mean, I don't know where they get off doing this. It took them 6 years and they only give me 200 cars that are premium cars. They give me 1,000 cars. 800 of them were from previous games, so they were just rendered to look nicer for the PS3. I don't know what they were doing for 6 years, but as you can see with the cars, there was not a pickup truck in there. So what exactly they were doing, I don't know. But to have a pickup truck race, I would really think that they would want to add in a pickup truck. That would just be my assumption anyway. So my take on this game overall, there's a good amount of customization. I didn't have a chance to show that off. Good amount of customization, not as much as Forza 3. Really, this game, if I were to compare it to another game, which I kind of have been, Forza 3, it doesn't live up to it. If I were to compare it to the hype, it falls completely short of the hype. It doesn't even get anywhere close to the hype. And for you to tell me, I mean, I'm sure you're going to get pissed off at this, but I am reviewing this game in terms of how much it was hyped and everything. And the game, it was just overhyped. So my final score on this is a 6.6 out of 10. It is a good game. It's a fun game. But is it worth the money? Is it worth the $60? Not really. If you own an Xbox 360, you're better off buying Forza 3. You'll get much more value for it. There is a lot of game in this, but they just try to do way too much, and they don't do one thing excellent. They do everything mediocre at best. So it's getting a mediocre score, 6.6. Sorry if that upsets anyone. Feel free to leave your comments below, rate, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching my review on